Hey, what's up? Back again. Second video for the day. This time another movie review. Um, Mortal Kombat Legends, Snowblind. Yep, for y'all that can see it. Yep. Um, Pretty much. It's no big secret, man. I'm a child of the '90s. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. You know, that's what I grew up on. Even to this day, man, still love me some Mortal Kombat. This is the third entry in the Mortal Kombat Legends line of films. This is actually my second favorite out of the three so far. The first two were pretty good. Scorpion's Revenge, which came out in 2020, which is the best one out of the three so far. The second one, Battle of the Realms, which came out last year. Then this one, which came out this year. Um, it was very good, man. Very good. You still, like I said, you still gonna get the over the top, brutal and gory, violence. All the different deaths and blood and all that gory stuff that we Mortal Kombat fans like. Um, so pretty much, you know, long story short, the movie starts off with a in the future, actually, an alternate dystopian future where Kano, of all characters, which is kind of the ruler of this reality, but the start of the film we don't know why. Well, the start and middle of the film we don't know why or how he became in power, and he's just the ruler of it. He got the Black Dragon, with him. Cabal and all these other individuals, Aaron Black. Just certain individuals. Shang Tsung, which was a huge shocker. Pretty much as his as his lackey, and it's like Shang. So first of all, we already know Shang Tsung would never follow Kano in any timeline. So the main character of this movie is Kenshi Takahashi. Um, I've been a fan of his character since what MK9. I want to say Mortal Kombat 9. I don't know, man. Like I don't know what it is about blind characters. Like they're because I'm a huge Daredevil fan. And so yeah, Kenshi Takahashi. He's the main character of this story. We get to meet him in his younger years before he became blind. But yeah, in this movie he does become blind. But before he becomes blind, we meet him as a somewhat cocky, a little arrogant. He kind of wants a good challenge, to test his abilities, see how far he can go. Sort of like he kind of reminds me of Kung Lao in a sense. He kind of reminds you of Kung Lao. Um, but yeah, he starts off a little cocky and stuff, and then he ends up meeting up with an elderly Shang Tsung, which you already know, Shang Tsung, he's a piece of shit along with Kano. But, he kind of lures Kenshi into finding this mystical sword. And, he was like, well, if you want to overthrow Kano, blah blah blah. You got to find this magical sword that will grant you the power to defeat Kano and undo this. So they head to this little tunnel, um, and this little containment pool where it's supposed to grant ultimate power, and Kenshi looks into the tunnel, and he ends up getting hit with a magic, with green light full of souls, which ends up burning out his eyeballs, literally, which is how he became, which is how he becomes blind. Like he ends up like kind of like you look into the abyss, and like your face falls off, something like that. So he looks into the abyss, and he gets hit in the face first, with the little mystical souls, and it burns out his eyeballs, and that's how he became blind. So but it was all a ruse for Shang Tsung to grant him power, grant himself power, because Shang Tsung only cares about himself, and plus he wants to overthrow Kano himself. So he absorbs all of the souls that was in the pit, and he regains his youth once again, and he kind of throws Kenshi at the bottom of the tunnel, and Kenshi has to, now being blind, he has to now he finds the mystical sword, and he has to learn, start from scratch, adapt, coming to terms of now being blind and having to use a new method of fighting. Also, while that's happening, um, Shang Tsung goes to overthrow, um, tries to overthrow Kano and the Black Order. I mean, the Black Dragon. Sorry. You know, Kano kind of like reversed. Kind of like had a trump card over Shang Tsung. Beats the shit out of him. Ends up killing him, like bashing his skull through a wall. It's like, yeah, I predicted your betrayal numerous times, blah blah blah, and you never cease to amaze me. So he offs Shang Tsung, which I thought was impossible at first, but that's until then I didn't know how Kano got that powerful. But then we later meet back up with Kenshi, and he runs into an elderly and broken Kuai Liang, which is the second Sub Zero. Yeah, man, I'm a huge Sub Zero fan, man. He's my third favorite Mortal Kombat character. He's actually tied with him and Scorpion. Both of them are in the number three spot as far as Mortal Kombat characters, favorite Mortal Kombat characters. So yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. It was kind of hard, which I understand. The reasoning for the plot of the movie as to why they made him like that, but it kind of, I was kind of disappointed, man. Kind of seeing him like that, because he was kind of pathetic. I ain't gonna lie. He wouldn't use his powers. He was kind of like an old, like smelly hermit. Uh, you know, he kind of lost his way, but we also he kept having these dreams, the same dream of him, being chased by himself. Well, he being chased by another Sub Zero, which he thought was his brother, Bihan, the first Sub Zero, but later revealed to be himself. That he was pretty much his own worst enemy, and we later found out the reason why he's like that now in this future is because in the past, when the Lin Kuei were trying to stop the zombie apocalypse, the Revenant in Mortal Kombat, they use Revenant apocalypse. Sub Zero and his team, they were losing pretty badly, and Sub Zero, while on the verge of almost being corrupted by them, he ended up freaking out, losing his temper, and he accidentally kind of like created like a Iceland, he kind of accidentally killed everybody, including his own people. But it was by accident. He didn't mean for that to happen. And because of that incident, he kind of like made a vow to like never use his powers ever again. If so, a certain someone would show up to, send him to Netherrealm, and which we already know who that was. My boy Hanzo Asashi, code name Scorpion. For all of the diehard Scorpion fans out there, yeah, man, he was cold in this movie as well, just like he was in the first two installments. Yeah, man, then we get Kenshi, Sub Zero, and Scorpion. We get the three of them fighting Kano and the Black Dragon army. Then we later reveal, well, Sub Zero later finds out why the reason why Kano is such in power in this timeline is because he, if you play Mortal Kombat 11, Kronika was the main and villain for that video game, and she had the source of her power, who came from the hourglass. They kind of took that plot line from that video game and put it into this movie. Kano pretty much got his hands on the hourglass after Kronika was defeated by Liu Kang, by Liu Kang and Raiden. So that's kind of how Kano came into power. He changed certain events in the timeline. No, so I thought that was dope. I was like, okay, once they revealed that, I was like, okay, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Um, and I do like the little, I like the small little Easter eggs that they had when Sub Zero was looking at the hourglass. They were showing like certain scenes from the Mortal Kombat 11 video game, from the video game cutscenes. I thought that was cool little Easter eggs that they threw in the movie. You know, Sub Zero, regaining his ability to fight and why he fights. Beat the living shit out of Kano, which I love because I fucking hate Kano and I hate Shang Tsung too. I hate both of them with a passion. So Sub Zero eventually gets the upper hand on Kano, kills him. Then the movie pretty much ends with Sub Zero going with Scorpion to the Nether Realm because he used his powers even though he swore he wouldn't. And Sub Zero tells Kenshi that, hey man, you are the Lin Kuei. You have to rebuild the Lin Kuei, start a new clan, recruit new members, and continue my legacy. So that's pretty much how the movie ends with Kenshi, with Sub Zero going with Scorpion to the Nether Realm, and Kenshi walking into the sunset, and bam, the movie was over. Like I said, man, if you are a Mortal Kombat fan, I don't see why you wouldn't like these movies, these little Mortal Kombat animated movies. Like I said, so far this is because it seems like they release them every year. They release one animated movie once a year, which is cool. Like I said, this is the third installment. If I had to rank these three movies, number one would be Scorpion's Revenge. Number two would be this movie, Snowblind. Number two would be Snowblind. Number three would be Battle of the Realms. They have another one coming out next year called centered around Johnny Cage, which I'm a big Johnny Cage fan. He's another one of my fan favorite MK characters. But yeah, that's supposed to be the next installment in the Mortal Kombat Legends series that they doing. Hey, I like them, man. Like I said, I love the animation, I love the voice acting, the fighting, all of the brutal deaths and all that. I love it all, man. So, like I said, I can't wait for the next one coming out next year, based on Johnny Cage. But until then, I got 2 more videos coming after this, another movie review, and then I have a TV show review coming right after that. So stay tuned for those.